Good morning. I am Bob Singal, a founder of Joy School, aka Professor Joy. So Gary Metzger is not with us today. He's out somewhere, but we have our social media expert, Steffi. And I actually wanted to talk about more of an evolution of Joy School. How did Joy School start and where it got its initial inspiration from? So, decades ago, I used to teach with Betty Edwards in my department, and she wrote a book called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. And I learned from that book that in order to activate your creativity and intuition, you need to connect with your right side of the brain, which is on the right, and the left is more analytical. So I actually, before then, I had not understood the concept of left and right brain and what is the difference and how they both work. But more I researched and learned from her book, I realized that it's not just a formula for being creative, but it's actually a formula for success in life. Anything you want to do. I said, wow, so I want to be successful. So I literally took it to my heart and I started insisting in my classes to my students that they also had to connect with their right brain and be smiling in my class. And it actually got all the way down to the student 49er student paper where they wrote an article that I kicked students out of my class if they're not smiling, which was not true. But I did remind them that you're always smiling in my class. But the interesting part of joy and connecting with your right brain, intuition, and creativity became part of my teaching philosophy. And that was after 7 years of review of my performance as a faculty, I was being considered for a tenure and promotion to a full professor. And so they granted me tenure and full professorship. Then someone nominated me for this very prestigious award called Meritorious Performance and Professional Promise Award. And I was granted that too, which came with a lot of money and prestige and everything. But all it happened because of my recognizing the value of joy in my teaching philosophy, in my life, in my way of practicing architecture and design and everything. And then I became the chairman of the design department and also the AIA president, which is American Institute of Architects, our chapter. And slowly I acquired some companies. I already had my architecture and construction company. And with all that and high level of success, I started collecting cars and motorcycles. I think at the time I broke my leg, I had over $1 million worth of cars and motorcycles. And I broke my leg on motorcycle, Harley Davidson V-Rod. So I thought I died. I woke up in the hospital and realized, no, I'm not dead. So I said, that's the good news, that I'm not dead. But what am I doing with my life? All I worry about is making money, more and more and more. And I already made a lot of money. And actually, I had gone to, because I had multiple companies, I had gone to Harvard Business School OPM executive program. And the first week of the program, they had us analyze our success in terms of net worth, education, and everything in our life. So I think they had developed a formula from Forbes magazine to see what top percentile did we all belong, And I wrote it all down, answered all the questions, and added it all up, and realized I was at 0.01%. I said, that can't be possible. I'm not that smart. But that was true, and it was all because of my learning to connect with my right side of the brain. It all, and I can pretty much owe it to Barry Edwards, who taught me the value of it. So I started working on this book, which I wanted to teach people how to emulate me, or do what I did to achieve success. So the formula was Joy Score for success. That was the concept. So the first book I published in 2011 called Joy in Health and Happiness. And everything I learned from my executive program, I started teaching to all the key executives of my companies that I gave to my family, because I was not interested in running any company or teaching or making money. I was just dedicated to help mankind, others, that was my goal. So I started teaching this class, and I have had this very old habit of making my students read a book and make a presentation about what the book says, summarize it. So one of the books someone read was called Game of Work. Charles Coonrad wrote this book called Game of Work, where he talks about how to change work into game, because he was a football coach. So all he knew was how to do sports, So he wanted people to work like they're playing sports, game of work. And he said, keeping score is breakfast for champions. I said, wow, that's interesting. My book that I wrote, Joy in Health and Happiness, it doesn't have a score. So I said, there's something very important missing in that book, which is, because I want people using Joy Score, my book, to be champions. So I said, well, I'm going to borrow Score from Charles Coonrad. I already have Joy, and I'm going to call it Joy Score. Very natural. In a way of thinking, I learned about joy from Barry Edwards, and Score from Charles Coonrad, and here becomes the new title for my book called Joy Score, which I finished in 2017. And I said, okay, I can again sell a few 100,000 copies, and then what? So I said, no, I want to reach millions. That's not enough. So I decided to develop an app which would allow me to reach many more people than the books people would buy. So here we have been on this journey to develop this app called Joy School. And last year, when Kamala Harris was one of the presidential candidates, I realized that they had adopted joy as the theme for their convention and platform. I said, that's interesting. I mean, they stole my joy. I haven't patented it. I mean, it's not something you can patent. I mean, there is a universal term, it's for everybody out there. But I said, they are using my philosophy for their platform.
Yeah.
And then they invited Oprah. She came out and then is introduced to Joy. I said, wow. And she, I think, in the media, perhaps one of the most distinguished, accomplished person. Oprah is no doubt perhaps one of the best, So she introduced Kamala Harris, the concept, and with what I saw, I thought is something which is going to help her win the election. And but I guess I have my personal bias and opinion on why she lost to Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton lost to Donald Trump, because we are not ready for a female president yet. And we like Donald Trump, who's a worthless, incompetent, stupid president. I mean, I have my reasons for that. The guy has 34 felonies, 6 bankruptcies. Anyone he has worked with, he has defrauded them. If he applied for a clerk's position in a federal government, he would not be verified to get that. And now he's the president. This is interesting. You were asking me, how did he become the president?
Mm-hmm.
Because 50% of this country likes him.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that they like him, but they like him.
Yeah.
So they elected him, and this is interesting, that because we are a democratic society, we believe in democracy, we elected this idiot as our president, but he doesn't believe in democracy.
Yeah. Do you think that 51% still like him?
I don't think so, but they did elect him though.
Yeah.
They call him mega,
Yeah.
So, but anyway, the thing is that, so both times, Kamala Harris, a good candidate in my opinion, better than Donald Trump, and Hillary better than Donald Trump, but we're not ready for a female president yet. I think this is the reason why he became the president. But it is what it is. And then now, actually, I wanted to ask you something, Steffi.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of a new app called Joy 101?
I have, yeah.
So, how similar is it to Joy School?
It seems very similar. Opening it, like there's a questionnaire. They have like videos and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think like there's different approaches
Okay.
between Joy 101 and Joy like the philosophies. Sorry.
So somebody who has known Joy School for many years approached me a few days ago and said, "Hey, someone copied your app."
Yeah, it is very similar.
Very similar.
On the
right?
surface, yeah.
So I said, "Really?" So I checked it out and I said, "Wow." In my way of thinking, I think it. I mean, I still have to analyze it and try to look into it further. But I see that this is a concept that Hoda Kotb, who is behind this app, I don't think really has a level of understanding from some of the videos I have watched, her shows, she talks about it and introduces. But to be seen, but I agree with you, a lot of similarities. I don't want to go out to the point of saying it's a copy of Joy School, which it might be, who knows. Now, some of the members of our team say it's a copy, but I'm going to wait it to be.
Like you are Professor Joy.
Huh?
You are Professor Joy.
Yeah.
So would you like consider like teaming up and like?
Well,
teaching?
actually, believe it or not, on LinkedIn, because Varsha sent me a link to her profile.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wrote to her, actually, I can tell you exactly what I said to her on the profile. I said, this is Bob Single, the founder of Joy School. I started this idea decades ago. Published the first book called Joy on Health and Happiness in 11, finished Joy School book in 17, and started developing the Joy School app as well. I find Joy 101 with some similarities. Let's talk, perhaps we can collaborate.
Okay. Alright.
But I think there's definitely, I mean, anything is possible.
Mm-hmm.
But as similar as it is, I kind of have a feeling that she must have known about Joy School.
She would have had to have done something.
Yeah, because, and in years ago, when I started the project, said, you got to patent it. I said, well, look, I published the book in 2011, Joy in Health and Happiness. That's the basis of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And someone has to be brain dead to copy it. It's published. It's like public knowledge.
Yeah.
Now you copy something which everybody knows about,
Yeah.
and then the second book, Joy School, and then the app, we have over 100,000 downloads.
Actually, because I compared them on ChatGPT, and they said that Joy Score is at 201
1,000?
downloads.
Huh?
Joy Score is at 201,000 downloads.
Oh, really?
That's what it's giving.
Wow.
So,
Can you tell what is Joy 101?
so I asked, and they said that they had 100,000 downloads in the first day, but there's no data recorded after that.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, I saw her. She's a TV anchor and
Yeah.
personality,
Yeah.
and their team and shows are obviously better than our podcast.
Yeah.
We're nowhere compared to what they have. But it's not an original idea,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, they got, and in fact, if they really want to, collaborating, I think, may not be a bad idea because she knows how to be a TV personality, and I know what Joy is. So it's like she has the capacity to make a presentation of better than me. I'm an intellectual professor, who doesn't know all that, but
Yeah.
I have written the book, developed the concept, developed the app. Now, anyone can copy it because it's been out there for so long now, that decades it's been there. So you don't want to copy something which is so widely published. And she just started this thing like recently.
Yeah. And I noticed they don't have any like daily trackers or gamification or anything.
Well,
So-
I mean, I'm sure we have certain things and they have certain things, but if I were, as a tenured full professor, were to look at these two products, I see similarity.
Yeah.
And I will ask the question, when did Joy Score start and when did Joy 101 start?
Yeah.
And that will tell me what I want to know.
And like you said, like she definitely had to have seen our app
Right,
because you do your research.
right, absolutely. I mean, unless she has people working for her who are not doing a good job
Yeah.
of checking things out.
Yeah.
I mean, look, a while back, we had hired this company called ASO Desk to look at Joy Score app and give us our app analysis. And they compared us to 8 different products out there. And Joy 101 was not even around at that, no. And they were comparing us to Calm and Headspace and Happify and all those things. So the point is that even a year or so ago when ASO Desk did the app comparative analysis, Joy 101 was not even around.
Should I look up when it was released?
Huh?
Should I look up when it was released?
It was just released recently.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it is interesting to me. Well, it is what it is. And I think we have to stay focused on our project, concept, product. And we have been tinkering with this idea of breathing and habit tracker and stuff.
Yeah.
And the original app with all the bells and whistles like Joy 101 has is sitting to be incorporated into the
Oh, okay.
new app. So, but one thing for sure, they may have a better way of being in the shows and presentation because Cora is a TV personality, far more polished than anyone in our team, but certainly our product has a long history of where it came from.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think we would end our show with that for today. And I'm very proud of Joy Score actually. And either a friend of mine said, look, if you run into a fight, one of the two would have to acquire the other one, or whatever. But our goal or plan is to have 100 million users in 5 years, and we'll see how we do.
Yeah.
Well, with that, thank you everybody, and we'll see you in a week, and we'll have Professor Metzger back in our podcast. And by the way, right now we are on maybe the second or the third chapter of our book, which is dealing with anxiety, depression, and stress. By the way, before I end, Joyce Cole, so far, actually, 5-6 years. How long have you been involved with Joyce Cole? 5 years?
Since 2018.
18?
7
7 years? Oh my God. So many years ago, I don't recall how many years, but there used to be a girl who was our brand ambassador who used to work with Knott's Berry Farm, Caitlin. And so she said, hey, you want to buy my friend's dinner one night and we'll give you all kinds of feedback on your app. So I said, okay. So soon developed a questionnaire. We are trying to question people about their credit score, their health score, and habits and stuff. And the research feedback came back, and I saw a direct correlation between joy score and credit score. And I was really mind-boggled, because one is a wellness app, and credit score is a financial outcome of your performance. But after a few months of struggling with it, and this is like 6-7 years ago, I realized that joy score by nature is the single most important thing in our life that if you keep track of, it influences everything.
Yeah, definitely.
So if your joy score is constantly going higher and up, everything else is going to improve. So can I claim that if you raise your joy score, your credit score would improve? I don't know, but there is a correlation between the two. The health score, so every score in life, now we are developing concept on anxiety, depression, stress, and obesity, which is the next book. And if people can just keep an eye on their joy score, everything else would follow and would improve. Because it's not possible to keep track of too many things in your life. You can just keep track of one thing, which is your joy score. Everything would follow. And I have proven it to myself by, in fact, somebody was saying that joy score is a digital copy of my life, which I kind of have tried to incorporate everything I have learned in my life in joy score. And that's what I'm trying to teach, you know. And I was looking at Hora Kortek's life, you know. I don't think she has anything she can claim that she has learned or taught that would inspire people. But she has the way of being presentable.
Yeah.
You know. That's her strength.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I'd like to thank everybody watching our show, and we'll